Whoa, and a good morning to everyone. Be'ezrat Hashem, Mincha is going to be 4:30. We're going to need all hands on deck. Anybody that's in the area should make every effort to come and participate in the Mincha and the Avit. In the Halachot of Shabbat, a person who has a fever and it hasn't yet been diagnosed, and it's a stubborn fever that's not going away with a very high temperature, if he's not able to bring it down through taking medication or other things like that, and he doesn't know the reason behind the fever, he is allowed to and he's required to go to the hospital and to have it diagnosed, because sometimes fevers could be very dangerous. It could be cholesh yesh bo sakana and it needs to be treated. However, a type of fever that comes from a cold, a lot of times a person gets a cold and through the cold the fever develops, so he really knows why he's getting a fever. It's a very typical type of fever. In that case, we don't consider it to be cholesh yesh bo sakana. We don't consider it to be dangerous because it's typical, it's normal, and there's no real danger involved in it. It's until that the cold really just goes away and the fever goes away, mimera, and therefore his status is not cholesh yesh bo sakana, but rather cholesh she'en bo sakana, which means he's still in the category of somebody who's sick, but someone who's sick who's not in danger. There's no endangerment to life, and in that case, we certainly would not allow for Hilul Shabbat. So once again, in summarization, a fever that has not been diagnosed and the reason is unknown and it's persistent and stubborn, one would be allowed to go to the hospital, especially if it's kids, especially if it's elder people, but even regular, typical average person. But a fever that is well known why it's coming is not something that is a cholesh yesh bo sakana. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.